As part of our series, Best Weapons and Class Setups in BO4 in 2021, we are going to be taking a closer look at the Rampart. Things that you need to know, who should be running this weapon, different class setups and attachments that I think are going to ultimately be the most beneficial for you. I really appreciate you guys for clicking on today's video. Be sure to hit that like button if you do enjoy, and subscribe to the channel for more daily content if you want to see more videos like this in the future. Really appreciate you. So with that, let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. It may come as a surprise to you, but the Maddox hasn't always been my favorite weapon of choice. When I was a new weapon, the Rampart was my favorite gun for like the first several months when I first started playing, and there are so many good reasons as to why. Now I do want to show you guys and talk a little bit about like who should be running this weapon first before I show you guys the attachments. What I can tell you is that this kind of functions in between, let's say, like an AR and an LMG. You have the sheer raw firepower and damage output of, let's say, like a Titan or a VKM, but you have a little bit more mobility similar to, like, let's say, an ICR. So you're not quite as bogged down, but you have that damage output. So it's a bit of both worlds, best of both worlds, for at least in my book. This is going to be a great weapon of choice if you are someone who likes to play very slow, very passive, perhaps enjoys LMGs already, but you want, again, perhaps a little bit more mobility out of your weapon. The Rampart is absolutely amazing. Can't recommend it enough if you play very passively. Without wasting any time, let's go ahead and take a look at the attachments that I have equipped here. Now there really is no right or wrong when it comes to the attachments. The one thing that I can recommend for you guys, it really comes down to how you play, obviously, but my recommendation is always to run double high caliber. Double high caliber is going to turn this weapon into a two-shot kill. That's right, a two-shot kill if you can manage to get both of those in the headshots, I believe in the upper chest as well, which is insane. It's actually really easy to hit those headshots. It doesn't have a whole lot of recoil. The recoil is there, but it's really not that hard to control either. So double high cal, again, if you can hit your shots in the right places, two shots, and that is an insanely fast time to kill. I think it's actually like on par with like some of the best out there. So really a solid choice. And if you're all the way in the back of the map, still a very good option for you. For me personally, I think that double FMJ really brings out and accentuates the LMG qualities. You can really shoot through just about anything and everything, all surfaces, all objects, not literally, but for the most part with double FMJ, you can really shoot through just about anything and everything. It would be easier to tell you what you couldn't shoot through. Now this is just me. For me personally, it's so much more important to have a double high cal than it is to have double FMJ. If you want to, having single FMJ is still very beneficial. You can still shoot through a lot of objects and surfaces in the game, so that is pretty cool. So if you want to run grip, let's say if you're having a hard time perhaps controlling the recoil, which if you're a new player that would make sense, by all means, swap out double FMJ, have a single FMJ equipped, and run grip. That would be fine. You don't need long barrel. It's just not necessary. This is already a great weapon pretty much at all ranges. It's just not necessary. As far as fast mags is concerned, you can equip it if you want to. It is a very long reload time similar to that of an LMG. However, like given how you're going to be playing, you are not going to, at least you shouldn't be putting yourself in situations where you're going to have to rely on fast reload times. You want to position yourself with this weapon playing a lot more passively, as mentioned in the introduction, plays a lot slower. So you're not going to need fast mags. You need to position yourself kind of like more like sitting in windows in the back of the map, etc., etc. So ultimately what I would highly recommend as far as attachments are concerned, again, double high cal, double FMJ is a great option. If you're having difficulties controlling the recoil as a new player, I would recommend going with a single FMJ and then running grip. In all my videos talking about class setups, I have mentioned so many times that dexterity is the absolute best perk in the game. However, given how the nature of this weapon, dexterity is not necessary. You're not going to be sliding around, slide canceling around corners, jump shotting, doing all this crazy stuff with your movement. It's just not what's going to be happening, especially because you're most likely going to be a new player anyways. So I would highly recommend whatever you want to run is perfectly fine. I've made a video on different perks that are great, perks that are bad, gear that is good, gear that is bad. Ultimately, your gear is up to you. Your perks are going to be up to you. You don't have to run stim shot because you're not going to be playing fast and aggressive where you need to heal constantly. At least that would be the idea. You don't need dexterity because you're not going to be slide canceling around corners, jump shotting, as I mentioned. So it's entirely up to you what you want to run. There's no right or wrong. As far as attachments, there is a right or wrong, So I know a lot of you guys may say, well, what about optics? Optics seems like to be really important, but if I'm being completely honest with you guys, again, that's really up to you. I've talked before about holographic and threat detector. Both of those are very bad. Please, if you are going to run an optic, me personally, I don't feel the need to do so when I'm running this weapon. Stay away from holographic or threat detector if you decide that is the route you're going to go. Reflex is always a good choice. Recon, it's okay. Dual zoom, it's okay. The only one that I could really recommend would be reflex, but outside of that, just iron sights, no optics, perfectly fine. It's not the best iron sight in the world, but it really does get the job done. You really don't need it, and it takes up a spot anyways. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you. This is a tank of a weapon for sure. Has a really unique AR LMG hybrid feel, and yeah, a great choice for somebody who wants to play very slow and pass. Thank you guys again. I'll catch you guys in the next one.